For a game involving a 2-4 team, it's kind of superstars across the board.
Yeah,
It's
some
going to
good
be here
matchups
on
in this
Sunday. That's right, between the Browns and the Patriots. So it's time to look at some of those key matchups. I'm Alex Barth, joined by Evan Lazar. This is the Patriots Press Pass. And Evan, I don't even have to ask where you're getting us started because I think I already know.
I'm concerned, Alex. I'm concerned about Tom Brady's blind side in this
Okay.
game. Myles Garrett comes into this game coming off the bye week, but back in week 6, he had 10 quarterback pressures on Russell Wilson, 2 sacks, a quarterback hit, and 7 hurries of the Seattle quarterback.
Yep.
He's probably the favorite for the MVP right now against Marshall Newhouse, the Patriots left tackle. This is the mismatch that you read about, right? This is one really ultra-talented athlete who is still a little bit raw, Garrett is. You know, he's not a technician quite yet. He's not at that stage of his career yet. But his first step and his athleticism and the way that he moves for a guy of his size is why he was the first overall pick a couple years ago. It just doesn't make sense. It defies the laws of physics sometimes when you watch him on tape. The way that he can contort his body and bend the arc and also change directions for a guy that's 300 pounds in his size. This is a huge foot speed mismatch between these two guys. The Patriots need to really be careful, especially in third down, obvious passing situations. You cannot leave Newhouse one-on-one on an island with Garrett too often unless you know for a fact the ball is coming out quickly as part of the scheme. So they're going to have to slide the protection that direction, maybe leave the tight end to chip or block or the running back out of the backfield. I wouldn't even be surprised if the Patriots go 6 offensive line a few times and put a double team, a dedicated double on that side over on Myles Garrett. The difficulty, too, is on the other side, Olivier Vernon's no slouch either. But I really think Marcus Cannon can hold his own against Vernon. I'm really worried about Garrett, again, because of the foot speed mismatch. It's just the athleticism of Marshall Newhouse versus Garrett is as stark of a mismatch as you get in this league.
And I would say this, you talk about using the extra offensive lineman. With that extra spot from placing Josh Gordon on IR, the Patriots choose to bring back or not release, there's technicalities here, but retain Eric Tomlinson, who is as much of a tackle as you're going to get out of a tight end. So to not show their hand too much with the 6-man offensive line, but still have that blocker. Eric Tomlinson played just over 40% of the snaps against the Jets. I think, given what the Patriots are dealing with in this pass rush in Cleveland, I think that number could potentially go up.
You'll find out really quickly what Bill Belichick actually thinks of Myles Garrett on Sunday, because if Belichick thinks as highly of him as I do, then they're going to have something ready for Myles Garrett. They're going to have a plan, a scheme, some sort of situation. Sliding the protection makes a lot of sense, because if you slide the protection, you can give Newhouse inside help from Joe Thuney, and then he doesn't have to worry about those inside counters, and he can just worry about setting an edge, and that could maybe help him out a little bit. In that way there, you're still only committing 5-6 guys to pass protection, and you're not leaving a dedicated guy and taking him out of the route combination. But either way, they need to have a plan for Myles Garrett.
This edition of Patriots Press Pass is brought to you by betonline.ag. Visit their website and use the promo code CLNS50 for a 50% welcome bonus. Again, that's betonline.ag, promo code CLNS50. I'm looking on the other side of the ball, my matchup. Now, Gilmore should be able to take away Odell Beckham. That in itself is going to be a matchup to watch.
It's going to be a juicy one. That's going to be great.
But I'm actually going to go one step further down on Baker Mayfield's reads on the offensive and defensive depth chart. Give me Jonathan Jones against Jarvis Landry, the Browns slot receiver. Again, I'm under the assumption that Gilmore is going to be able to take away Odell Beckham. And Baker Mayfield, you talked about it yesterday in our Scouting Baker video. You can check that out on CLNSmedia.com, that Baker's going to want to make his reads before the snap. He's not a guy who's going to scan the field. So if the Patriots can take away Odell Beckham, which you expect, Jarvis Landry's probably going to get a lot of looks, at least in the progressions, from Baker Mayfield. If they can take him away, Baker's going to be in a lot of trouble very early. Jonathan Jones, it's a bit of a mismatch for him, but he's proven to be one of the better slot corners in football. Here he is against one of the better slot receivers in football. It's one of those big slot receiver type guys, sort of like the guy the Patriots just got in Mohamed Sanu, sort of a timely arrival maybe for the scout team. But if Jonathan Jones can take away Jarvis Landry, like I said, it's going to be a long, long afternoon for Mr. Mayfield.
If Freddie Kitchens is worth a damn as a head coach, he's going to take that bye week to really self-scout and figure out what was wrong with this Browns offense. I think early on in the season especially, they really just wanted to get Odell Beckham involved. They had this new shiny toy. They wanted to get him implemented the offense. They wanted to get those big plays down the field out of Beckham that he's known for, and it really took Baker Mayfield out of his rhythm. I expect them to try to get Baker more in rhythm this week and get him to use those quick throws, the RPO videos, the quick decision making is what made him the number 1 overall pick.
Yep.
Quick decisions, very accurate ball down the field. Those are the 2 things that were kind of his scouting report, the positives for him that made him the number 1 overall pick. Landry's a big part of that, of getting the ball out. I do think it's a little bit of a mismatch with John Jones because Jones has shorter arms and isn't one of the better Patriots corners at contesting at the catch point, and Landry's really a contested catch guy now at this stage of his career. Doesn't create a ton of separation anymore, but he's able to win in tight spaces. So I do wonder if we see a little bit of Jason McCourty on Jarvis Landry. I think that when they played Miami in the past, when Jarvis Landry was down there, John Jones did have a few matchups where he played pretty well against Landry, so maybe they do stick with what has been working. But I think that Jason McCourty's got a little bit more size, a little bit more height, a little bit more length that could maybe contest some of those balls a little bit better, because I think they're going to try to get the ball out quickly for Baker because that's really where he's at home.
And I mean, I'll just go back to what I said, whether it is Jones or McCourty or whoever, the point still stands. It's taking away Jarvis Landry, assuming Gilmore does his thing. Taking away Jarvis Landry could be the difference between what I think will either way be a good defense, but could be the difference between a good day and a great day for the Patriots defense. One more key matchup I want to talk about here at the end. This is sort of a big picture thing. Yeah. That's the Browns against themselves. Now, this is a team that back in, April, was supposed to challenge the Patriots for the AFC. This was in contention to be the opener. People thought this game would be one of the biggest of the year. Browns are 2-4. Yeah. They're struggling. Yeah. And you look at some of the personalities in the locker room, and we know people who have taken things personally in the past. Odell Beckham, the Patriots wanted him. Don't forget that. They tried to trade for him.
Odell Beckham wanted the Patriots.
And he wanted to be here. Yeah. That's right. He doesn't end up here. I'm assuming he's taking this game very personally. Yeah. Baker Mayfield, remember, there was a lot of hype around the Patriots moving up to take him if he'd fallen even to 2 in the draft in 2018. He's a guy that definitely is going to approach this game with a little bit of extra intensity. Yep. Overall, this team with big personalities that was talked up all spring, all summer, they could be 2-5. If the Browns lose this game, this dynasty that we had shoved down our throat all spring and all summer, I think ends on this turf on Sunday if the Browns lose that game. This is not just their season. This is not just their Super Bowl. I think this is the Browns Baker Mayfield dynasty that we, again, had forced on us all summer at stake here that the Patriots can put to bed. So, high stakes, high pressure for the Browns. Can a young team with a questionable head coach handle that? That's an interesting matchup to me. Browns versus themselves.
This is such an Alex Barth take, right? We're going to go big picture. We're going to look outside the box a little bit.
Am I wrong, though?
You're not wrong, and they've built a team that's extremely talented. I still think the team has holes. The offensive line and the secondary defensively are 2 glaring holes that when you look at kind of their snapshot of their team, you see that, like, there's a great chart on the Pro Football Focus website that shows you their starting 11 on both sides of the ball. You look at the secondary, you look at the offensive line, there's a lot of red, which is not good. The red's not positive, right? So you don't want that. So they still have some holes that they need to fill, but they're way more talented than their 2-4 record. Yes. Right now they're 25th overall in DVOA, 25 out of 32 teams. This team has way too much talent on both sides of the ball to be a bottom feeder, a team that might again be picking in the top 10. That's not where they thought that they were going to be before the season started. So I agree with you. I wouldn't say that this is the make or break game for Baker Mayfield's career or anything
I wouldn't go that far, but in terms of, the Baker, Odell, Landry, that whole kind of, if they lose and Baker has a bad game, how does Odell take it?
I also think, there's a lot of pressure on the players now in Cleveland, I think, to save Freddie Kitchens' job.
And again, that's what I'm saying. Can they use that pressure to elevate and play at the level
that pressure elevates you, sometimes it sinks you. But with all the outside noise from the media talking about, is Freddie Kitchens really... Is he for real? Does he have the ability to be a head coach in this league? Because we've never seen it before on a successful level. That puts a ton of pressure on the players in the locker room to perform for their head coach. Because if they don't the rest of the way, then they could be looking for a new coach in Cleveland.
And we will see. Let us know if we missed any key matchups in the comments or on Twitter at PatriotsCLNS. This edition of Patriots Press Pass has been brought to you by BetOnline.ag. Visit their website. Use the promo code CLNS50. For a 50% welcome bonus. With Evan Lazar, I'm Alex Barth from Gillette Stadium. Thanks for watching.